This is LeBron James, small forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in 2016, LeBron's field goal percentage was 54.8%. This means out of all of the baskets that he attempted from the field, he made about 55% of them. Let's suppose in some part of a game, LeBron shoots from the floor 10 times. There are a lot of questions we could ask about what happens with those 10 attempted shots. What is the probability that he doesn't make any of them? What's the probability that he makes all of them? What's the probability that he makes exactly half of them? What's the probability that he makes between, say, 3 and 6 out of the 10? The situation that we're talking about is an example of a binomial experiment. The conditions for a binomial experiment are these. The experiment results in one of only two outcomes, either success or failure. And in this problem, success means that he makes the basket and failure means that he doesn't. The probability of success is fixed. And here the probability that he makes a basket is always the same. It's 54.8%. The number of trials is fixed, and here the number of trials is the number of times that he shoots the ball. We often call that n. So here we have n is equal to 10. And the trials are independent of each other. In this case, it just means whether he just made a basket does not affect the probability that he will make the next one. So let's take a look and see how to compute these probabilities using a couple of different online tools. The first tool is called GeoGebra, and I've got it pulled up in my web browser here at www.geogebra.org. You can navigate the site to the calculator that we want by clicking on Graphing Calculator and then Probability Calculator. Oops, I missed it. Math Calculators and then Probability Calculator, which should bring you to this page here. You can get there more quickly just by typing in www.geogebra.org/probability. And so we just want to close this calculator down here at the bottom. The default calculator is for normal probabilities, which we will get into next week, but we want the binomial. And so here we have the binomial calculator, and we need to start putting in our information about LeBron. He's going to shoot the ball 10 times. The probability that he will make a basket is 54.8, so 0.548. I don't know why this thing keeps coming up. And one of the things that we wanted to know was what is the probability that he doesn't make any baskets at all? And we have a little table over here that shows us the probabilities for all the different outcomes of this binomial experiment. So the probability that he doesn't make any baskets at all, well, that probability is not very good because LeBron's pretty good from the floor, right? So the probability that he won't make any baskets at all is 0.0004. Likewise, it's also not too likely that he would make them all. The probability that he does that is 0.0024. One of the other questions that we asked, what's the probability that he makes exactly 5? We can see that right here, 0.235 is the probability there. You could also get to it by just entering a 5 here and a 5 here. And we can see this bar is colored in, and the probability is right here. One of the other questions that we asked was, what's the probability that x is between 3 and 6? That is, what's the probability that he makes between 3 and 6 baskets? And we see the probability here is 0.4726, which is the sum of all of the probabilities between 3 and 6 and including them as well. So I like GeoGebra because you get all of the outcomes here. You get a really nice picture of the probability distribution. And so that's one way to do these problems. The other way is to, well, there are probably lots of ways, but these are the two best ways that I have found. Another way is to go to the website StatTrek, so stattrek.com. And when you get here, you see a bunch of different things. What do we want? We want to look at stat tables for binomial distributions. So let's click on that. And here we have the opportunity to punch in the same quantities that we punched in before. The probability that LeBron will make a basket is 54.8%. We're interested in what happens when he tries this 10 times. And here we have to individually enter, well, what is probability that he doesn't make any baskets? And here we see the probability that he doesn't make any baskets. GeoGebra told us 0.0004. Here we get 0.000355, blah, 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 blah. So GeoGebra rounds to 4 places, which is adequate for the problems that we do in My Open Math. We also asked what is the probability that he makes all of them. So we would change the probability of success to 10. What's the probability that he makes exactly 5 of them? It's easier to do here, right? And then if we want to know the probability that he makes between 3 and 6, we'd have to do that in a couple of pieces. We could figure out the probability that he makes that he makes less than or equal to 6. So this is the probability that he makes 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, all added up. And then we would have to subtract the probability that he made less than 3. So you can do those interval probabilities on StatTrek. One tool is better than the other for certain problems. I encourage you to use them both.